Good evening. Welcome to Math for Kids number
115.
Today we're moving on from our Pascal's triangle, and we're going to talk about one of the most famous probability problems ever, and it's called the Monty Hall problem. And this problem has left people confused for years and years and years and years. And it has a really it's really kind of an interesting problem. And I actually promised 15 years ago that I would never ever talk about this problem again because it was so confusing, but I'm going to give it a shot. You ready?
Yeah.
It's also super fun, this problem. Okay, here we go. You are on a game show. This is you. And this is a guy named Monty Hall. And he's the game show host. And you are playing a really neat game with Monty Hall. There are 3 doors. One, 2, and 3. And behind one of the doors is the special golden hat.
Helmet.
Whoa, the special golden helmet. Maybe I should put the camera down a little lower so we can see better here. Okay. And you can't see behind the doors, but in our video you might actually be able to see behind the doors. But in the game you really can't see behind the doors. And behind the other 2 doors are prizes that you definitely do not want. A giant shark, or whoever this guy is. Who's that guy?
A troll monster.
A troll monster. Okay, so I'm just going to put the stuff like this. Here's the golden helmet, and here's the shark. Now remember, you want to get the golden helmet, and you don't want the shark. And here's how the game is going to work. So here's door number 1, here's door number 2, and here's door number 3. Monty Hall is going to tell you to pick a door. Okay? Mm-hmm. So you might pick door number 1. Or you might pick door number 2, you might pick door number 3. You can pick whatever you want. And then after you pick, Monty Hall is going to show you one of the bad prizes. So let's say you pick door number 3. Monty Hall would say, behind door number 1 is the troll guy. And the troll guy would say, okay? So you're going to pick. Monty Hall is going to open one of the other doors and show you a bad prize. He's not going to show you the good prize. He's going to show you a bad prize. Okay?
Yeah.
And the question is, he's going to say, do you want to switch your choice now? And the question is, does it matter? Should you switch? So, do you understand what's going to happen?
Yeah.
First, you're going to pick. Second, Monty Hall is going to open a door that shows a bad prize. And third, he's going to say, do you want to switch or not switch? Okay?
Yep.
All right. So, you ready to go through the game?
Yeah.
Okay, first we're going to do it where you don't get the choice to switch or not switch. First, we're just going to see how often you win. Okay? How often do you think? There's 2 bad prizes and 1 really good prize. And you don't know where they are, and they're put back there randomly, and you have no idea. So how often do you think you're going to win this game if you're not allowed to switch? You just pick a door, and then they open the door, and you either win or you don't win. How often do you think you're going to win in this version of the game?
Maybe 1 out of every 3 times.
Okay, that's exactly right. Why do you think you're going to win 1 out of every 3 times?
Because there's 3 prizes, one of them's good.
That's exactly right. So we could play the game like this, and you could pick door number 1. Door number 2. Hey! Yay! Golden helmet! Woohoo!
You have to take his hair off before you do.
Oh, sorry. And then door number 3. Oh no! Shark! Rah! Okay? Now, so you understand that game, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't get the choice, if you just pick and they reveal what's behind the doors, you're going to win 1 out of every 3 times. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, suppose you play the Monty Hall game that I described. So you pick a door. Monty Hall shows you a door. So let's say you pick door number 1. Monty Hall opens door number 3. And you don't switch. You always say, no matter what Monty Hall shows me, I'm not going to switch. Okay, let's see how often you win now. What do you think? So no matter what Monty Hall does, you say, no matter what he does, I'm not going to switch. Okay? What do you think now? How often do you think you'll win?
Maybe the same amount.
Okay, why? That's exactly right. Why do you think if you don't switch, if you decide to do nothing, why do you think you're going to win 1 out of every 3 times?
Because it's exactly the same as the first version.
That's exactly right. If you don't switch, if Monty Hall says, hey, you can switch if you want, and you decide, no matter what, I'm not going to switch, you're going to win 1 out of every 3 times. Because it's the same game as we played before. It doesn't matter that he opened a door and showed you something, right?
Yeah.
You're just going to win 1 out of every 3 times. Okay, now you ready for the fun one?
Yeah.
What happens if you do decide to switch? Okay?
Switch up the prizes.
No, not switch up the prizes, switch doors. So you pick door number 1. Okay? Monty Hall says, hey, behind door number 3 is the shark. And now you say, whenever Monty Hall shows me a prize, I'm going to switch. Do you think it matters? You think you're going to win 1 out of every 3 times now? Or are you not sure? This is the hard problem.
Not sure.
Not sure. What do you guess? What do you guess? Do you think you'll win more often or not as often? Or the same amount? What would you guess? And then we'll play the game and I'll show you.
Maybe, I think more often.
You think you'll win more often? Okay, well, let's see. Okay, well, there's only 3 guesses that you can make, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go through them. Door number 1. You pick door number 1, right?
Yeah.
Monty Hall reveals door number 3. So you decide you're going to switch to door number 2, and you win. Okay?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, now, so that's you've won 1 out of 1. What happens if you pick door number 2? Okay, you pick door number 2. Now Monty Hall has a choice. He can reveal door number 1, or he can reveal door number 3. It doesn't matter. Let's say he reveals door number 1, and you decide to switch now to door number 3, because you said no matter what Monty Hall shows me, I'm going to switch. Oh, you lose. You got the shark. Okay, so now you've won 1 out of 2 times. So now what happens if you pick door number 3?
He reveals door number 1.
He reveals door number 1, and you switch to
Door
number 2, and you win. So now you win 2 out of 3 times. So it's amazing to see. And by the way, it's the same no matter where the hat is. No matter where you put the hat, you have 3 scenarios. You can pick door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. So there's 3 places you can put the hat, but they're all the same. You just do all 3 cases. Okay? So let's look and see what happened in the switching one. In fact, I'll leave the hat over here this time. Let's see what happens in the switching one. When do you win and when do you lose? So now you pick door number 1. He reveals door number 2, say, and you switch to door number 3, so you lose, right?
Yeah.
When you pick right, what happens in the switching one?
You win.
In the switching one.
Well.
When you pick right initially, in the switching one, you pick 1, he reveals door number 2, and you switch to door number 3.
You get it wrong.
Right. When you pick right in the switching version, you lose. Now what about door number 2? You pick door number 2. What does Monty Hall have to do?
He has to reveal door number 3.
So what happens when you switch?
You win.
You win. You pick door number 2. He reveals door number 3. You win. Now you pick door number 3. He reveals door number 2, and
you also win.
Right. So in the switching version, you lose when you picked right, and you win when you picked wrong. So how often do you pick wrong initially?
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3 times. So there you go. In the Monty Hall problem, it seems crazy, but when Monty Hall reveals that door, you should always switch because you win 2 out of 3 times now.
Awesome.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool problem. All right. Good job. Good job today, honey.